It's amazing.
Phenomenal.
Exactly, positively. Milwaukee is the most positive person on his job.
I couldn't say no at that point.
They love her.
It's always fun with her.
I'm seeing my dream coming true.
A middle schooler. She just created this thing.
She looked at me and she's like, I got this.
This seeming tragedy turning into something really beautiful.
Grab a hold of her because she's invaluable.
Being the person he was, he fought to the end.
He didn't have to take the time to do what he did for me.
Jimmy made everybody around him better.
I mean, that place saved my life, and they helped me get there.
I continue to stand up and fight for that. She's always on the right side of justice.
That young man is a leader.
You dedicate yourself to something and you put all your hard work into it, you can accomplish whatever you want.
All right, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Today's TMJ4 Positively Milwaukee Awards, honoring everyday people who make southeastern Wisconsin a better place to live. Here is your host for the evening, Carol Meekins.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Positively Milwaukee Awards. We are so proud to say this is our third year honoring the quiet heroes in our community. We started this year with a bit of a problem, but it was a good problem to have because we had hundreds of nominations, and it was not easy to whittle down the winners on the list. But we are thrilled to say that this year's award winners embody all that is positively Milwaukee. Tonight, we honor a civil rights pioneer who does not know the meaning of retire, a firefighter who is helping others, first responders, in their times of need, a young woman who gives up her Saturdays to build a community of generosity, a late soccer star who came back to his hometown of Milwaukee to give the underserved kids a fighting chance. We will honor a mom who vowed to make the birth of a child with special needs an occasion to celebrate, a teacher who takes her students out of their comfort zone to help them discover their real passions, an Air Force vet who exemplifies what it means to live a life of service. And we will celebrate an NBA champion who never forgot his Milwaukee roots. Ladies and gentlemen, here to present our first award of the evening is today's TMJ4 morning meteorologist, Brian Niznansky.
Thank you, Carol. Good evening, everybody. What an honor to be up here this evening. She marched with Father Grappi and Val Phillips for the housing in Milwaukee. She was a freedom rider during the civil rights movement. She created the Blossom Girls Club to empower young women, and she taught at MPS for almost 4 decades. And now Edwina Matthews is technically retired, but her passion for kids and our community keeps her going strong.
Edwina is important to Milwaukee because she's a role model.
I think she belongs up there with the Val Phillips, the Father Grappis, and some of those other people that just kind of just laid it all on the line to make Milwaukee a better place for African Americans.
She's never done. She's still that traveler, paving the way for others to say, you can do what I've done, but much better.
She's just amazing, and she is truly just that, what you all are honoring her for, being the inspiring senior. Because before she was the inspiring senior, she was just inspiring.
And she's definitely positively Milwaukee.
In order to know where you're going, you got to know where you came from. And I continue to stand up and fight for that, even as a retired teacher. During the time I went to school in Milwaukee, all my friends was white through grade school and high school. I had never encountered any racism.
She and her husband at the time were having difficulty buying a house.
I've never seen such a large white mob. And that's when we started the rallies.
She was out marching with Father Grappy. She was marching for fair housing, fair employment.
And she even told me she marched with Martin Luther King.
I vowed to stay involved because I know my voice count.
You had to have been brave. You had to have a belief that this was worth, even maybe losing your life over. When I hear her talk about some of her interactions with Father Grappy, with Dr. King, some of the marches that she took place in, it just lets you know that she was just dedicated to the community.
My cousin, who was a teacher, and she was my role model, and I always wanted to be like her. So she inspired me to be a teacher.
She actually worked for MPS for 37 years as an implementer and a teacher.
And I just felt that it was my duty to my grandparents, to Dr. King, and all the other blacks that have fought for equal opportunity and quality education for black kids.
She has never stopped. She's still in the classroom helping support teachers.
She works with a small group of students that are struggling in reading.
Good morning, boys and girls.
She gives them that personal love, one-on-one, that they need more of. It just shows how much she cares about Milwaukee and my students and the school, and she takes that time every day to come here.
Because if I'm there for these kids, maybe later on these kids will think about it when they finish school and they say, well, Miss Matthews was there to help me. Maybe one day they will reach out and help someone.
We need to try to get as much out of her as we can because, we're losing our history. If we don't have people like her to continue to tell us about what she went through, the struggle she went through, so that we can have a more fair opportunity at an education, at life itself, it's important.
She's weathered the storm. She continues to weather the storm only because she cares about the community.
She's a jewel here in Milwaukee and an asset to our community.
She's always on the right side of justice and on the right side of righteousness, right? She's just good-hearted people.
Keep reading, keep reading. Reading is the key. You can see that kids want to do better and they can do better, but they just need that push. They have to know that someone cares about them. Educating these kids is hope for Milwaukee.
Look at those smiles. Ladies and gentlemen, our inspiring senior, Edwina Matthews. Come on up, Edwina.
Thank you very much. I would like to thank Carol Megan's Channel 4 and all of the people that nominated me for this award. I will always be devoted to Milwaukee Public School and my community. I would like to thank my family, friends, and co-workers for sharing this special event with me. Thank you very much.
Edwina, a woman of few words, but a big passion. It's so good to see you again. Congratulations, Edwina. What a wonderful way to start the program. And tonight, Edwina and each one of our winners will receive a $1,000 award from the Scripps Howard Foundation for a charity of their choice. And at the end of the show, one of our special winners will also receive the Inspiration of the Year Award and an additional $4,000 for their charity. So we want to say thank you to the Scripps Howard Foundation, our parent company, for that support. And we also want to take a moment to thank our presenting sponsor, Heiser Automotive Group. Heiser has been with the Positively Milwaukee Awards from the very beginning. The Heiser team is here tonight, and we want to thank you for being Positively Milwaukee. And you know our next presenter, an anchor and reporter at today's TMJ4, and you can watch her weekdays during Live at 4 and Live at 6. Please welcome Shannon Sims.
Thank you, Carol. They are the men and women we count on to help us during those scary moments in our lives. But the real question is, when firefighters need help during their tough times, who's there for them? When Milwaukee firefighter Joe Flick realized that some of his fellow first responders were suffering in silence, he answered that call.
I could have never imagined that I'd be sitting here at 35 years old with the life that I have because of being able to become a firefighter.
He's exactly Positively Milwaukee. He's the most positive person on his job.
Cares a ton about the department and what he does.
Truthfully, firefighters want to be proactive, and Joe did the proactive step of starting something.
Ignite the Spirit is actually, we work to support firefighters and their families in times of need. I take what we do very personally. In 2006, I was stationed on Brady Street at Engine 6. And it was a weekend, I was off, thankfully. But I had a little brother at the time that had an accident down off of Farwell. He passed away that night. My crew, my guys that worked, were the ones that handled that call. Like, I still think of that. Yeah. That was one of the first times that I got to see kind of how people would rally around you when you needed it. In 2017, we were about to lose one of our firefighters to her battle with cancer.
Lieutenant Kristen Saganek. She died from cancer that was caused by things that we come in contact with every day.
There were a ton of firefighters helping, but there's only so many firefighters. Like, those resources eventually run out. It'd be great if there was some sort of a formal, ongoing, proactive fundraising that we can do to help.
That's where it all started from.
If one of us went down or one of us needed help, to know that there's a organization like that that's gonna make sure that we're all taken care of, that's love.
The fundraising, the parties that we do, the events that we do, they're all fun, right? But the back end of that is you're gonna go meet a family that's in the middle of something heavy that it's not fun to be around.
We're bad at asking for help because it shows weakness. And I was there. 19 years here in the city and 22 years total, things built up, and I wouldn't ask for help, and I wouldn't ask for help. I mean, I felt like I was at the lowest point of my life. I got to the point last year where there were numerous times where I had either opened the drawer and looked at my 9mm that was sitting there, and a few times where I had actually put it to my head and thought about pulling the trigger. And it came to the point where it was time for me to go get help. It was very last minute, and the plane ticket was going to cost close to $800 to go out and get me help. That's where Joe and Ignite the Spirit stepped in, and they paid for not only my plane ticket to go out there, but for one of our peer support members to fly out with me. If I hadn't gone there, I probably wouldn't be around. I mean, that place saved my life. And they helped me get there.
I think it was probably 6 months or so was when we realized that Tony was going to be hurt in a bad way.
Going on about 5.5, 6 years ago, my wife was first diagnosed with cervical cancer. And then she was clear for about a year. And then it had metastasized or grew to her lungs.
My crew and I were working on Christmas, and I remember getting the phone call from Tony's dad. And it just sucked the life out of the entire day, of all days. It's got to be on Christmas. It was probably about a month went by before we were able to host the benefit.
I tried to help with the mounting medical bills that were coming.
I think the final number after all was said and done, was a little over $30,000.
That was a big event for us.
Effectively wiped out their medical debts that they had left over from the last couple of years.
It was phenomenal. And the biggest thing about that was that I was able to bring my boys and show them, you're not doing this alone. You have all these people behind you. I don't really know where myself or my family would be if it wasn't just for the individuals and Ignite and Joe and people involved in it.
Having Ignite the Spirit in the City of Milwaukee Fire Department, everyone says is probably one of the greatest things that we've done as a department, and especially Joel taking charge, that we've done in a very, very long time.
He's really taken this organization and has this passion for it that it's amazing.
At the end, you remember the people that were there for you, and you remember the impact that it made. As this grows, I hope that it gives people a chance to interact with their firefighters more, to learn more about our fire department, the people who work for it, the jobs that we do, the different types of things that we face every day, day in and day out. I think we're going to help a lot more people along the way.
The true embodiment of love. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Joe Flick to the stage for our Community Hero Award.
There's not enough Kleenex at my table. It's not warned. All right. Hello. First off, I'd like to thank Ms. Carol Meekins and TMJ4 for hosting Positively Milwaukee. As I've heard everybody's stories kind of before we came in, it truly is an honor to sit in this room amongst so many outstanding and inspiring human beings. I do not hide that Ignite the Spirit is a young organization. However, in our 2 years of existence, we've been able to support over a dozen families and have donated over $55,000 to those needing it most. This type of impact does not happen on accident. I'm pretty bad at accepting awards, so I'd like to accept this one on behalf of anybody that's helped us get to where we are as fast as we've gotten there. My executive board members, all the support they've given, any one of our supporters, all of our volunteers, and the numerous families that have provided us with an opportunity to do what we say we're working to do. Thank you to each one of them. I'd like to especially thank my amazing wife, Karen. This takes me out of the house more than I'll admit, and she picks up the slack behind me with our 2 little ones, and thank you for that. As a Milwaukee firefighter, I try to make a difference and do a great job in everything that I take on. Most of the time, people's lives depend on it. However, as you can imagine, in our line of work, there's not a lot of awards, a lot of accolades, so when we do get them, they're not that easy to accept. When we are recognized, it's usually just the product of us showing up, doing our job, and trying to do it to the best of our ability. In fact, anytime you talk to one of us, they'll just say, "This is our job." So while I'm incredibly humbled and grateful for receiving this award tonight, I'm even more grateful for the opportunity to share Ignite the Spirit Milwaukee with each of you. A couple months back, I watched one of our senior firefighters retire. And if you ever get to see a firefighter walk out of the firehouse for the last time, it's pretty cool. Big ladder trucks out front, aerials up, giant flag hanging down. Firefighter's family comes in for dinner, and there's a speech and a little send-off. When this firefighter gave his speech, he put in over 25 years, and the very first thing he spoke about were the things that he would miss. The first thing he mentioned was he was going to miss the feeling they got every time they rushed out the door in the middle of the night to help. The adrenaline, the sense of pride that he felt doing his job, and knowing that he was going to do a good job and everything was going to be okay and he was going to be safe because of his brothers and sisters next to him. That's exactly what Ignite the Spirit Milwaukee is. Brothers and sisters helping their own
and inviting the community in to help. When a firefighter or their family is suffering through the unspeakable, they don't always know that everything's going to be okay. I can't always promise them that it's going to be okay, but I can promise them that we're going to keep working to build Ignite the Spirit Milwaukee so that when they do need a hand, we're going to be there immediately. Again, thank you.
Congratulations, Joe. Thank you again for all the work you do. So here to present our next award is TMJ4 political reporter and my better half on TV. He anchors the 4 and 6 o'clock news, Charles Vinson.
It's been a wow night, and it's going to get better. Nobody is so poor that they have nothing to give, and nobody is so rich that they have nothing to receive. That's the philosophy at the River West Food Pantry in Milwaukee. When Murphy Mellows started volunteering at the pantry, she wanted to help in a bigger way. Her plan was ambitious, but little did everyone know Murphy would devote nearly every Saturday for the next 5 years to her mission. And get this, she hasn't even graduated from high school yet.
Nonprofits often need a volunteer to take ownership and to see a project through. Not often is that a 12-year-old.
People, I think, are sometimes surprised to hear the magnitude of the work that she's doing.
She's really found her passion. This is what she loves more than anything else.
She just gets up on those Saturday mornings and she goes.
River West Food Pantry is a community of generosity.
We serve about 13,000 people a year. A third of those 13,000 are kids. Murphy came to volunteer as a middle school student.
And I'd sort of seen okay, there's just kids running around. There has to be something they can do.
She emailed me and said, hey, I'd like to meet with you. I have an idea how to help your mission.
It was just a kids' activity reading corner. That was basically the idea.
So that when moms are here thrifting and shopping, that there can be real support for their kids. Somebody to read to their kids, to color with them.
A good, just positive place for kids to also feel like they belong at the food pantry.
Even if I wanted to say no, I couldn't say no at that point. It was just such a great vision.
A middle schooler. She just created this thing.
She looked at me and she's like, I got this. And I was a little bit like, what do we have? And because we don't have anything, actually. We don't have books, we got nothing. And so that was the bee in her bonnet to get her done.
And so it started in middle school. I did a book drive at my school and then raised funds from friends and family to buy supplies. And I was like, all right, here we go. This is my project.
So this is the corner. It's been moved from corner to corner all around the pantry. We just kind of have crayons, markers, books, and then when they go home, they can take 2 or 3 books with them. It used to be when I started, it was 4 milk crates of books and a blanket on a floor with a coloring book and crayons. And since then, I've been given a table and then a bigger table and then more chairs. And we just kind of keep adding, so it's good.
Obviously, the parents want the best for their kids, their family. So just to be able to get their monthly needs without having a child maybe climbing on their arm, they're just so appreciative for, and I've heard that from so many parents. There are 2 boys that come consistently every week and they're like, all right, I'm ready to color a car. That just it melts my heart every week. It's just knowing that I've had even the smallest impact.
This isn't about her fixing other people's problems. That's not what this is for Murphy.
She came here because she wanted to meet a need. But I think this community started to meet a need in her life.
In reality, I'm going to receive so much from this, and obviously I have received so much.
She's changing the landscape of the work that they do there through the relationships that she's building and through the need that the work that she's doing is meeting.
We have so many school groups and so many different church groups and businesses wanting to come because of people like Murphy that have created a really dynamic volunteer experience.
she feels like she has a little slice in helping to make Milwaukee a better place.
You definitely don't have to have a college degree. Murph did it as a middle schooler, so.
She chose to do, what was in her power to do and to see it through.
Just that sense of consistency is something I value so much. It's just these kids knowing that I'm there.
Murphy's made such an impact on me and on some of our other staff and leaders that we invited her to be on our board of directors.
I think Murphy has realized that feeling a part of something is important. It doesn't matter who you are.
She's figured out how to be committed as a teenager, and that's remarkable.
It comes from within because she's doing it entirely on her own.
I just think that love is such an important part of giving and receiving, and it has taught me so much over these years that I just think it's the pinnacle of why I serve.
So Murphy's here with her wonderful family and her team, so please meet the winner of the Inspiring Youth Award, Murphy Mellows.
I just wanted to begin by saying I am so humbled to be honored alongside these other amazing honorees. So for that, I want to begin by thanking WTMJ4 and their team, including Jim and Greg and Heiser Automotive, who have put so much into this night and making it so special for all of us. As I have been giving a bit of thought as to what I wanted to say tonight, given such a unique platform, I have begun to reflect on what has got me to this point. When I began this project about 5 years ago, I never, ever thought I would be up here today. I didn't begin this project, nor did I continue it, for the fanfare, the attention, or frankly this award, but rather for this intangible sense of love, compassion, and community that I continue to receive and discover at River West Food Pantry. I want to thank Mr. Noth and Sam for being such kind and inspiring role models over the last 5 years, and for trusting me. I was truly a bucket of books and an idea, and I cannot thank you enough for trusting in me, and knowing that this corner, while it is just a corner, has been founded upon consistency, predictability, and continued growth of relationships. Beyond that, River West has given me a new perspective, a new lens, a new view on the world around me. And again, I cannot thank you both and the entire River West community enough. I want to thank Molly Shea for being a mentor and truly a friend over the last few years. Thank you for trusting in my abilities and for always believing in me. I stand here today enclosed in these 4 walls of the Harley-Davidson Museum. There is so much hope, so much passion, and so much promise for Milwaukee and for Milwaukee's future. Outside these walls, however, is a world that is complicated. It is intimidating and confusing, yet fascinating and beautiful, all in the same breath. Here's to tonight's winners, to River West Food Pantry, and the community of generosity, compassion, and love that stands behind each and every one of us. Thank you to my family, my mentors, my friends, and my community for rooting me so deeply in the beauty and love that this city has to offer. Thank you.
When I leave this world, I want to be able to say that I've done something for someone. And I think by helping these kids, as far as teaching them good values, not only teaching, but motivating and things like that, I think if I can do that, I've done my job.
He was one of Wisconsin's most accomplished professional athletes, but there is a chance you do not even know his name. Jimmy Banks achieved something most soccer players in the world only dream of. but he lived so much of his life outside of the spotlight. In April, Jimmy Banks passed away at the age of just 54. While his athletic accomplishments should be celebrated and remembered, it is his devotion to mentoring young athletes here in his hometown of Milwaukee that is Jimmy's true legacy.
Jimmy has been referred to as the Jackie Robinson of American soccer.
He was an even better man than he was a soccer player, and he was a superb soccer player.
There'd be little moments during practice where he would demo something, you know, and the guys would be like, whoa, did he just do that?
He never really talked about himself and what he did.
If he saw the camera in here, he would walk around.
I think he's possibly better known internationally than he is known locally.
He never talked about himself.
I think that's why we didn't know how big his story was.
He was an All-American in high school. He was an All-American in college. He was a professional for the Milwaukee Wave, All-Pro. He played in the World Cup. There aren't many people who could say that they did that.
A kid from Westline, from Milwaukee, made it all the way there.
When I first found out that he ended up playing in the World Cup and on the World Cup team, I didn't find out from him. I actually found out from someone else. Just out of nowhere, just like, oh yeah, your dad played in the World Cup. It's like, what? That's how much he didn't talk about it.
Often the question is asked of coaches, you know, you got tryouts, you got selection process and all that. Well, why did you pick him? What was the determining factor, right? And for Jimmy, it was right on the money. Jimmy made everybody around him better.
Being able to see like a person that's like, you know, your skin color, comes from your type of background, grow up to go to that kind of stage and like play at a pro level like that, that's just amazing.
We have football, we have basketball, we have other great sports. But if soccer had gotten that kind of publicity at that time, everybody would know who Jimmy Banks is. We would know him as well as we know Brett Favre.
But the big thing was too, is to come back and give to his community. It wasn't just about soccer with him.
He was an angel that we needed in our lives at that time.
He helped out a lot of people that came from nothing, and they grew up and they're responsible adults.
He was the coaching director, he was the father, he was the mentor.
Once I reached the professional level, then I had the opportunity to make a mark. And that's one way that I look at it. Because soccer has been so good to me, I just wanted to put something back into the sport. As far as working with inner city kids, disadvantaged kids, and things like that.
He just did so much for people that it's kind of hard to like even imagine that he's gone still to this day.
He says to Rob, well, I've got cancer again. And Rob, who had been his assistant for 5-6 years or something of that nature, he says, what do you mean again? He says, well, this is my third time. I'm going to win this one too.
Growing up, seeing my dad always like strong, always doing stuff on his own. Suddenly, he's just laying there in the bed, and this could possibly be his final days.
He made an impact on a lot of people, man, from all walks of life.
Everything's gonna be okay. Those are his words.
He kept fighting the entire time, and it was amazing.
I missed that smile on his face when he seen his grandchild be born. He told me that was the happiest thing that ever happened to him. There's not too many Jimmy Bankses out there.
There are many, many men today who will tell you that Jimmy changed their life.
I think that's a big part of his legacy, and we definitely want to try and continue that on with the Jimmy Banks Academy.
We want to introduce soccer to more kids in the inner city, but with the curriculum added to it, where we're teaching life skills.
If me and a lot of my friends or a lot of people in the community didn't have soccer, we wouldn't be where we are right now.
That was Jimmy. He's just fantastic.
Jimmy's a great person, one of the best people I've ever met.
I put Jimmy in a class of his own, right? Because of what he did for a bunch of young men that didn't have anything.
Jimmy was genuine, and he was genuinely nice.
I would say he was the best.
It's a lot to live up to, but for good reasons.
That's the type of legacy that we need to carry on when it comes to Jimmy Banks.
Here to help us honor their dad's legacy, please welcome Jimmy's sons, Demetrius Banks Sr., Jimmy Banks Jr., and Jordan Banks.
I'm sorry, bear with me here. It's very emotional. When I first wrote this, it was a little bit too much to say, and I know we don't have a lot of time. So I just have a list of words that kind of describe him. Resilient. My dad came from Westline Projects, where he continued to play soccer regardless of his unfortunate circumstances. He told me a story once when he got elbowed in the jaw, and his jaw was wired shut, and he had to eat through a straw. My grandmother did not want him to continue to play soccer. But him, with that dedication and love of the game, he continued to play the sport that he loved. He didn't let it stop him. Magnanimous, because he gave back to his community in so many ways. Empathetic, his ability to develop a rapport with people who were under the same circumstances he grew up in. Trailblazer. He was very innovative, had the ability to develop strategies to help him master how to work with kids with behavioral issues. Legendary. The accomplishments he made were remarkable, and he was famous for it. Patriotic, a patriarch. He showed his leadership in his community and for his country. He has definitely been an icon. And more than anything, he was a great father who helped guide us and helped us become responsible men and carry on his legacy.
There's a lot we can say, but I think the biggest thing out of this whole thing today is, like our dad and all the stories that you're hearing, they didn't do it for any recognition or for their legacy or anything like that. They did it because they care, and they're doing it because they care. And I think that's the biggest thing to take out of it. So my challenge to everyone that's here or that's gonna watch this is, what can you do to positively impact your community or another person? If a lot of people do what these people are doing, the world would be a better place.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jordan Banks, and I'm his youngest child. And at this time, I would just like to take the time to give thanks to everyone on behalf of my dad, me, and my brothers. I would like to start off with our family and friends. Our grandmother, Willette Wimpy, who did a wonderful job raising our dad and for doing her best to provide for her and her children. We love you, Grandma. Our aunts and uncles, Deborah, LaToya, Michael, and Paul, for being great siblings to our dad, especially for being there by his bedside, cheering him on as he passed away. I especially remember a time when he looked at us and told us that he was scared in his last final moments. And I know that you like to call him like the little big brother, but you definitely showed that you definitely acted like the bigger siblings in that situation, and you definitely made him feel a lot better in
in his last moment. So thank you for that, and we love you. I would also like to thank JC's wife, Allie Banks, and Dee's fiance, Camia Bryant, and also my girlfriend, Candace Brown, for supporting us through such a difficult time. We love you. I'd also like to thank Rob Harrington, Ralph Zerson, and the people from MSOE who supported our dad and helped him have such a successful career as a collegiate coach. I'd like to thank Dee White, who has been a prime example of how much of an impact our dad made in mentoring and guiding youth in the community. We thank you for carrying on his legacy by making an impact in the community as well. I'd like to thank Clyde Ward, who is our dad's best friend. You guys trained so much growing up, and you were definitely a big part of him becoming such a grateful and successful soccer player. Thank you. I'd like to thank our dad's girlfriend, Ramita, who loved our dad and did a phenomenal job helping him while he was sick and being by his bedside every single step of the way. Thank you. We love you. And to our mom, who raised us even when times were really hard, our dad was proud to say of how much of a wonderful mother you were to us. We love you, Mom. Thank you. And I'm sorry. And we'd also like to thank TMJ4 for giving us the honor to represent our dad and accept this award on his behalf. Thank you.
Hi, Mary Ann Scafidi with Heiser Automotive Group. Once again, we are very proud to sponsor the Positively Milwaukee Awards. The individuals that we're honoring tonight have no motive. They do this out of the kindness of their hearts to help other people. All the nominees and tonight's winners have truly touched my heart. Thank you, and keep it going, Milwaukee.
We created the Positively Milwaukee Awards to honor the unsung heroes who do so much but really ask for very little. This next winner is one of those heroes. To introduce her, please welcome Live at Daybreak anchor, Vince Vitrano.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Good evening. If you are a new parent who just learned that your baby has Down syndrome, there is one person that you're going to want to call, and her name is Robin Lyons. Robin works tirelessly for an organization that she and two friends started back in 2008. It's called Wisconsin Upside Down. Its focus is to flip traditional perceptions of people with Down syndrome and to make life easier for families. Whether she's counseling new parents of babies with Down syndrome, or working with schools, teaching job skills, fighting to change laws, or hosting karaoke night, Robin Lyons does it all. She does not do it for money, not for recognition, but for the thousands of Wisconsin families who need a helping hand. Robin Lyons is our unsung hero.
It's in the name. She's an unsung hero. No one has really given her the recognition she deserves.
It's amazing how Robin just loves everyone, and she wants to help everyone.
Robin doesn't do things for Robin, she does things for other people.
She just is like a life support, I guess you'd say. Somebody that we know we can always reach out to.
And for the new families, grab a hold of her because she's invaluable.
The worst thing that happens to parents when they have a child with Down syndrome is the people who tell you they're sorry. I got pregnant with Kelly. The first thing the doctor said was, you know, it's illegal to do it this late. I was 25 weeks pregnant, but we could get you to Illinois and take care of it. And I just said, this is my daughter Kelly, and this is my Kelly Belly, and she will be a member of our family. And so let's go figure out what we can do to help her.
There just wasn't an organization that we really felt we fit with, and so she decided to start Wisconsin Upside Down.
We started with 3 moms that got the organization together. We received such kindness, which made me want to give back, and that's really where the whole Upside Down experience was born. This seeming tragedy turning into something really beautiful. There are all these things that people will say that child is really not worth raising. Why would you do that?
I experience people shying away from coming into my room. We're sorry to tell you that your baby has Down syndrome. That's hard to hear. But then as I would go into the NICU and hold him, I knew it was going to be great. He looked at me with that smile. And when our eyes met, it was magic. It's not a death sentence. It's a joyous occasion. Congratulations on your baby, and that's what Robin tells you. We do a lot with Robin and all the outside activities. Karaoke is just a hoot.
I love it because Justine was so funny. People, they say, go, Pluggy, go!
I think it was Robin's passion that sort of spurred our district to retake a look at how we service students with disabilities within our schools.
Her daughter was a keynote speaker at our 8th grade graduation, standing in front of hundreds of families and giving a speech, which was pretty remarkable.
Robin's work has really helped our non-disabled kids. They are so empathetic. They are so welcoming to our kids with disabilities, and they really learn so much more from them.
I've learned that you should love everybody because that's how the world should be, right? Yeah. Love you, Kelly. That was good.
I think in general, people who are heroes do things without wanting the status of that hero label, and I think that's Robin.
I don't think Robin will ever be done. I think people have a calling, and I think this is Robin's calling.
She makes such an impact on everyone, and I hope she understands how much everyone loves her for what she does.
If we had more people like Robin, that would really, our world would just continue to be a better place.
Thank you seems so small. I appreciate who she is, but in particular, I just thank her for how she's opened my eyes to all the ways that I want to help my daughter, but also reach out and talk to other families, kind of an extension of her.
I love you,
Robin, thank you so much. You are a sweetheart. Thank you so much. I love you, Robin.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is our honor to welcome to the stage our unsung hero. She is our award winner tonight, Robin Lyons.
Wow, I have to apologize because I'm ditching this script. I promised Jim I wouldn't make it too hard to edit, but for one thing, I'm really humbled tonight, and to be put in front of this amazing group of people and be announced as one of you is such an honor to all of you that are being honored tonight. Thank you for counting me as one of you. I want to thank the sponsors. I do a lot of fundraising, and I understand just how important sponsorship is, and this wouldn't happen tonight without you. And TMJ4, Greg and Jim, to tell our story, to tell my story in such a beautiful way just took my breath away. Most people who know me know that I have the gift of gab, and so I'm usually not speechless, so it really took my breath away. I want to tell you about my lucky number. My lucky number is 3, and before I'm done talking, I hope you think of yours. My lucky number is 3 because I have 3 beautiful children, Reed, Reagan, and Kelly, and my 3rd child has a 3rd 21st chromosome, which is called trisomy 21, better known to you probably as Down syndrome. I'm so blessed that I had 2 friends join me in founding Wisconsin Upside Down, so the 3 of us could honor our 3 children, Mitch, Sam, and Kelly, and they all came with me tonight, so I'm really happy to have them here. As you saw, we were often told that our children didn't belong. The number of times total strangers would come up to me and say, "Didn't you do testing?" As if Kelly wasn't good enough to be here. But I have to tell you, if you could have seen what happened at intermission, when Kelly, Sam, and Mitch got up to hug the sons of Jimmy Banks, because they had been crying. I think that tells you why God put them on this earth and why people of Down syndrome are valued and important members of our community. The two moms that founded Wisconsin Upside Down with me are my friends Amy Elfner and Deb Balderas, and I want to thank you and thank them for joining me in my passion in life. We envisioned a day when a person with Down syndrome could get a date to prom, could hold a job, drive a car, and get married. And I'm sorry, TMJ4, but I didn't want it to make the news. It's not news because it should be normal. It shouldn't be a press release. And yet today we all are bombarded by those viral videos of people with disabilities getting handed the football to make the touchdown, or having the non-disabled peer ask them to homecoming. But is that the message we need? I want to see the stories that say, this man won America's Got Talent because he was talented. He was talented, not because he had autism. Those are the stories we need to tell, because I know, and my passion is, that people with Down syndrome or any other disability belong on our earth. They were put here for a reason, and we should honor them and respect them. And those are the people I'm here to honor tonight. I'm really proud of Wisconsin Upside Down. It's been my baby for 13 years. We've worked to ensure that all people with Down syndrome have the freedom to go to a classroom with all the other children, have the right to work, and perhaps get that good wage that they deserve. And they deserve to live the American dream. And so now I challenge you. I challenge you to find your lucky number and take that lucky number and fit it to your passion. And when you know your passion, go out into our Milwaukee community and make it a better place. Because you're doing it not because it makes you feel good, not like those videos that make you feel good. You're doing it because you want to make Milwaukee a better place, just like Positively Milwaukee is. And I'll tell you a little secret. The side effect is that you are going to feel good. So thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Congratulations, Robin, and thank you for opening your heart so beautifully and sharing such an important message. Here to introduce our Inspiring Teacher Award is a radio and TV personality who uses her voice to celebrate Milwaukee. She's the host of her own Jammin' 98.3 weekday show. Please welcome Andrea Williams.
Thank you, Carol. At Milwaukee's Escuela Verde, or EVE, as everyone calls it, the line between the classroom and the real world has vanished. Homeroom is called an advisory, and teachers are called advisors. And for one very special advisor, the world outside of school provides some of life's most valuable lessons. Tonight we honor the Positively Milwaukee inspiring teacher, Zainab Balbalki.
She does it all. She does it all. She likes to do everything we do. I would love to have a friend like Zainab.
Her impact on students, I think, is right there every day. It's visible. I mean, they love her. She can meet them where they're at, but also can pull them, stretch them further into stuff that's completely relevant to their lives.
She make you think in a bigger way. Cause sometimes I go like, oh, I can do this. And then she goes like, don't give up, you got this.
She actually told us that she said that she would rather prefer us to call her Zainab.
You can confuse her in a crowd.
with the students and believe she's a student. So that's the funniest part.
She's so fun, she's so cool. Just very relatable and like easy to talk to, easy to understand. And I feel like she really understands us as well.
I think that's why I stuck with her, because she gives off good energy, positive energy, and she comes to school ready, like she's ready to work.
I just relate to her a lot. It's just comfortable being around her, and she's funny. I think her laugh is the funniest.
Her laugh is so contagious.
So yeah. Coming from where I come from, the south side of Milwaukee, I felt like I was always taught to be tough. I had to be strong at all costs, don't show any weakness. But then being at EV, how can I expect these students to be empathetic and be open and have really tough conversations about someone who you're disagreeing with when, you know, I'm not even opening up. So they teach me to be more vulnerable, and I really appreciate that.
I'm involved with everything that goes on with my daughter here. Even when they're on summer break, she's thinking about them then. I get texts throughout the summer.
She'll just let you know everything. When Mayday didn't do her job, she'll text me. Mayday's not behaving, she'll text me.
She keeps me updated on everything.
I text the parents all the time, but the parents are their advocate too. So it would make sense for me to talk to the parents, because now instead of having like the students seeing it as 2 individual supporters, no, we're 2, 3, 4 supporters supporting your vision. If I don't have a connection with a student and or even their family, I don't feel that they would reach their optimal success.
There doesn't seem to be this rift between classroom and outside world. It's all swirling together constantly.
She's showing me she cares about me and she just wants me to do good.
We were walking on our trail. She was eating some ramen noodles very early in the school year. She's eating it, she decides she doesn't want it anymore.
And I throw it inside the plant.
And then I was like, do you know how long it takes styrofoam to decompose?
She made me go in it and pick up the noodles.
Well, this is your home, this is your space, this is your backyard. And I knew it wasn't like a scolding moment, it was like a teachable moment, because you could tell that she was just used to it.
She made me go in that big plant.
And then it went to, okay, now how can you teach others about littering? And then I connected to Adopt a Beach. And then I was like, okay, take our advisory there and we'll all clean up the beach. So then she took our advisory there and we all cleaned up the beach. So that one interaction spread, and then she got to engage with all 20 students in the advisory.
It was like super fun, and it shows me not to litter.
It's this like just subtle knowledge of what each student needs and where they need to be nudged that Zainab is really quite spectacular at.
It's always fun with her. It's always fun with her. Even though it's time to work, she will still have fun with it. And I think that's how students learn best when they're doing work. We always get lifted up by her energy.
Ultimately, the purpose of education is to inform and make someone a better person, right? And a better person to their community, themselves. And it's not an individualistic moment, right? It's you share, you build knowledge, you create knowledge, it's always with another person.
She takes time out with all of the kids.
She's always made it her duty to help everyone that she can. When we're too scared to ask, she's still willingly trying to help us. She just makes it worthwhile.
She impacts, I think, more people than she knows.
I appreciate all she has done for my daughter. I love her.
I'm telling everybody, send your kids to EV and request Zainab.
It may seem like she's being tough on you, but that's because she doesn't want you to give up. She wants you to do your very best.
Zainab, she gives you chances and she doesn't give up on you.
That's something that I like, you know, people telling me they believe in myself makes me believe in my own self, you know?
Thank you for not giving up on me.
I'm seeing my dream coming true.
Thank you for providing a safe space for everyone.
Yeah, she's pretty awesome. Don't tell her I said that though.
You're the best teacher ever, that I ever had. Yeah.
She's just the best.
She's pretty amazing. Please welcome our inspiring teacher, Zainab Balbaki.
let me just bring this down a little bit. So they told me I only had like 2 minutes, so I just prepared a really short speech. I'm just kidding. I had to do something funny because I told the students I was going to make a joke, but they said don't do it. So first of all jokes aside, though, that list would be that long. It's not just me who got here. It's plenty of people who put in time and work and energy and money into getting me to where I am, so thank you to those people. Thank you to TMJ4 and Heiser Automotive for hosting this event, for all these amazing people that are here in Milwaukee contributing amazing things. We are all here in this together, so thank you. I want to give a special thanks to EV, Escuela Verde. I'm not the only one who probably is at that school who could receive the Inspiring Teacher, and I know we're not the only school that could receive that. There are plenty amazing teachers across Milwaukee. So teachers, keep doing what you're doing. We're in this fight together, making Milwaukee better. So keep doing that. I also want to say thanks to my mentors who got me here, my pre-college programs. I'm still in there. I actually just had a meeting in Madison before getting here, and I had to drive back. And I saw my Gear Up mentor, and he was like, oh, glad you're doing here. What are you doing again? Yeah, keep up the good work. I'll see you in October. It's just, you make those connections, and that's what this is all about. You have positive connections, and you pay it forward, right? And these are the themes that coming up. People bringing in positive energy, paying it forward, including people, not just doing the work by yourself, but also with relationships with other people. And then I also did want to bring in one joke that the students always say. So they always joke that I'm super rich and loaded. But it's really funny because it's true. Yes, I'm rich, but not in the ways that they're thinking, right? They enrich my life. And they're also rich because if they're giving that to me, they have it within them. And everyone here has that within them. You all are enriching other people's lives. Whether you're receiving the award or not, you're here in support. So thank you all. Keep passing that forward. And my action, because you need to have an action. It doesn't stop here. Please keep enriching other people's lives and be positive because I said this in that video, but it didn't get on there. We all rise together. You can't do it by yourself. You have to reach out. And we all get better when we rise together. So rise together, people. Thank you.
Thank you, Zainab, for inspiring young minds, and you're right, we all rise together. Next, we're going to salute a person who is as devoted to serving our community as he was to serving our country. Here to present our Inspiring Veterans Award is Storm Team 4 meteorologist Brian Goddard.
Good evening, everyone. Hope you're having a great time. And a quick thank you to everyone who has been honored tonight. You have inspired us and made us feel more positive about our city. Thank you. As a military family that I grew up in, I'm honored to be presenting the Inspiring Veteran Award tonight. Del Williams is an Air Force veteran who grew up here in Milwaukee. As a kid, he was lucky enough to have a mentor who kept him on the right path. That mentor, Victor Barnett, went on to start the Running Rebels community organization. So when Del had the chance to return to Milwaukee after serving in Desert Storm, he went right back to Running Rebels. But this time, he was there to give back and help kids, just like someone had done for him all those years before.
Del's legacy to Milwaukee is about creating generational change.
My uncle is also the uncle of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He's that person you can look up to, that person that's readily available and accessible, while still making sure that he's responsible in the advice that he provides.
I think one of the greatest feelings for me now is that Dale Williams get recognized for the great things he did for the city of Milwaukee and our young people.
He served in the military, but then he also made it a point to continue that service to our community.
Dale means something to so many people. And I want him to know that and feel that and look back and he himself be proud.
My name is Dale Williams. I am the Vice President of the Board of Directors for the Milwaukee Running Rebels Community Organization.
Here at Running Rebels, we run a variety of different programs for young people that are all focused on mentoring, to put them on a path to be successful in life, to thrive and not just survive.
I was the first youth to be mentored by Victor.
Here is this young man that, I felt like I was his big brother, and I was going to do whatever I could do to help him move forward in life.
It was always my desire to someday see how far this thing could really go. Between 2,000 and 3,000 young men that have had their lives directly impacted positively by Running Rebels.
That is what is so wonderful about Running Rebels, about Dell, about Victor, about the whole story, is the ability to hold and care for one another in a way that spans one's entire lifetime.
It's turned out to be quite an undertaking, but it's the most rewarding work I've ever done.
Dale was an individual who kind of brainwashed us to the point where we didn't have no choice but to be leaders.
Brandon Joseph, he turned out to be one of the best kids that I've ever met. He's just a great guy, great personality.
In 2017, I had the honor of winning the Coach of the Year. And I remember saying to him, he said, you did it, you did it. I said, no, Dale, we did it.
He told the audience that he wouldn't be there had it not been for A, his mom, and B, his mentor, Dale Williams, which really meant the world to me.
We the original two. We've been with Dale from the beginning. Like, we was his first two.
I wouldn't say it's like family. This is my family. Like Dale is like a father figure to me.
They do the things that I've done, and they do it better than I was able to do it.
It's a strong bond. Like at some point, we both lived with Dale at some point.
Yeah.
And we love you.
Secretly, I always wanted to fly. That's something that I didn't tell a lot of people because in my neighborhood, there weren't a lot of pilots. And so I joined the Air Force. And in doing so, I realized a lot of dreams. I traveled a lot and was active duty here in Milwaukee, which meant I got to help the Running Rebels and be in the military, which was two of the things that I love the most.
I think what drives Dell and what his purpose is his ability to connect with other people.
Milwaukee needs to know that Dell's path and contribution to this community is something that anybody can do.
If there's one lesson I could take from my uncle, it's that family doesn't necessarily mean blood. You can find family and fellowship with any person that you can relate to.
Everything he does is with compassion, it's with love, and it's with work ethic. And that's what Dale Williams means to me, and that's what he means to Milwaukee.
It's tougher to quit on a friend than it is to quit on yourself. And so you might give yourself permission to stop doing something because you're tired, but you look to your right or you look to your left, and there's your brother depending on you. That brotherhood really draws it out of men to make them not give up in times that they would give up if it was just them.
So please join in with me in celebrating our inspiring veteran, Dell Williams.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to start by saying thank you to WTMJ for honoring me with this great award. I'd like to say thank you to Heiser Automotive for the ride here and the ride home. That's an awesome car. And while we're giving it up, can you give it up for this suit that this guy is wearing? The story told a bit about Victor Barnett, who's my big brother, as well as my mentor. And we have a thing at Running Rebels that we call full circle. And so it started with Victor pouring into me all the things that he did. And I went to the military and found some more aspects of life, but mainly service before self. And so I brought that back to the Running Rebels. We instilled that in there. And so we went on teaching youth, teaching youth, teaching youth. Brandon was my first kid that I mentored, and we grew up together. I taught him some things, he taught me some things, and it wasn't always pleasant, but it was worth it. And so years later, Brandon was a basketball coach at Destiny High School. My son was on his team. He was pouring into my son the things that I had poured into him. And sometimes kids receive things from other people that they wouldn't receive from their parents. And so I said, well, that's a good job. This guy right here, he's a different kind of kid. I would see him in the hallway, and I'd say, hey, son. He'd go, hey, Dad. I go, I love you, son. He'd go, I love you, Dad. And the kids would turn and look at him like, you love your dad? He's like, you don't love your dad? By the end of the school year, I said, love you, son. The whole crowd would go, love you, Dad? So I thought that was pretty cool. And so the mentoring went on. DJ grew up, and he's doing his thing in life. And I was like, okay, I'm done with raising kids. I can concentrate on doing other things. And then we had a big loss in our family. Around this time last year, maybe a little bit earlier, my brother died, and he had a 13-year-old son. I'm 53, and there's nothing I thought I had in common with a 13-year-old. When they asked him where he wanted to be, just like my nephew here tonight, he said, Uncle Dale. Without a doubt, I want to go with Uncle Dale. That's where I want to be. And I try to get him to understand that there's a certain way we do things in our house. We communicate. We make sure everybody knows what's going on, what everybody needs to do. And if you don't do it, you're held accountable. This guy was just closed off, and I get it. He just lost his dad, and I didn't think I was getting through to him. And so one day I was frustrated, and my son comes out and goes, Dad, I got it. And he goes in and sits down and talks to my nephew. My nephew gets up and does everything he's supposed to do. I said, what'd you say? I just told him he had to do what he had to do. I said, but I said that. And so I was like, the point of frustration with him when my son wasn't there, and I was telling him to do certain things, and I didn't think he got it. In comes Fortnite. And anybody with a young person in your life that's on the internet knows about Fortnite. And so I didn't think he was listening to the things we were talking about. And I was coming around the corner one day, and he was playing Fortnite. And he goes, he's yelling at a kid, why did you let him kill me? You let him kill me. Why did you let him kill me? He said, I couldn't help it. He said, look, man, around here we communicate. So he got it. And that's the full circle that started with Victor, poured into me, poured into Brandon and Ward and Shelby and the others that are here, poured into DJ, and now it's being poured into my nephew. I want to say, again, thank you all for this award, and I hope you have a great night.
Thank you, Del. Thank you for that inspirational message, and for all of our leaders, and for Del Williams. the leaders at Running Rebels, our next honoree is a perfect example of what is possible. And here to present our Beacon Award is TMJ4 sports anchor Lance Allen.
Thank you, Carol. Milwaukee native Kevon Looney is known for his stats on the basketball court. He was the top high school player in the state. He was an all-conference player at UCLA and a two-time NBA champ as a Golden State Warrior. But tonight, we celebrate Kevon for what he has done off the court. As a Running Rebel youth, Kevon learned about the importance of being there for other people. It's a lesson he took with him all the way to the pros. And now, 23 years old, Kevon takes every opportunity he can to give back to the city he loves.
The biggest thing about Kevon is if they had an NBA for character, he would be in that. Definitely. He's a way better person than basketball player.
Growing up in Milwaukee for me was it's fun for me. Great parents, great family, and I actually found a great organization by the name Running Rebels early in life. Most of my friends that I call my brothers today, I met through Running Rebels.
Senior year when he was one of the top players in the country and projected to go to the NBA draft, he worked at Running Rebels after school as a tutor every day.
It was always funny to me, like, man, I know exactly how you feel right now. Just do your work and you're gonna go have fun later. From New York to California, I mentioned Running Rebels and how much they've done for me. I got a tattoo of Rebel for Life on my leg, and it's something that I'm always gonna take with me.
Everything that he does is for Milwaukee. He does a basketball camp each year.
It's one of my favorite times of the year where I get to come back home, see all my family and friends, and get to touch the kids and help them get to see their goals and work on their game.
It's just in him. Everything he does is from Milwaukee.
Milwaukee's a great city, but it isn't perfect. It has a lot of work to be done. I'll try to reach out and see how I can help. You know, I'm not always here throughout the year, but whenever I have a chance to help, I want to do that. I want Milwaukee to be like one of the major cities in the Midwest, major hubs where you got a lot of doctors, athletes, lawyers, everything that anybody wants to accomplish. I want them to be able to do it here in Milwaukee. Being from Milwaukee isn't a burden, it's an honor. So when you tell people you're from Milwaukee, we're like a badge of honor, like you're special.
Ward and Shelby are here. You just heard from Dell. The Running Rebels family for Kevon are all here. Kevon is in California with the Warriors tonight, but he recorded a message for us. Ladies and gentlemen, our Beacon Award winner, Kevon Looney.
What's up, everybody? It's Kevon Looney. I just want to thank TMJ4 and the whole city of Milwaukee for giving me such a great honor, and I'm sorry I couldn't be there. I really wanted to be there to celebrate all the great people in Milwaukee doing great things, but Milwaukee means a lot to me. I just want to give a special thanks to my mom, my dad, the Running Rebels. There's a lot of people I can thank in the city of Milwaukee for helping me get to where I'm at today. These people are people that taught me how to give back and how big the community is and how much, how you can, if you change one person's life, you can affect the whole city. So I just want to thank everybody for giving me this award. It took a lot of work for me to get to where I'm at today, and for me to have a chance to give back, it means the world to me. You know, it's something that my mom and my dad are big about, and about giving back and helping the youth and helping everybody else. I had 1 million people help me in the city of Milwaukee. That's why I'm so proud to be and say I'm from Milwaukee, and I wear it like a badge of honor. And I want everybody to have that same feeling and have that same pride of being from Milwaukee. I just want to, again, thank everybody for this award and thank the city of Milwaukee. Hopefully I can make you guys proud.
Milwaukee's own Kevon Looney refuses to forget his roots and continues to help our young people. And we thank him and congratulations, Kevon. Well, right now it's time to name our final award winner of the evening. The Heiser Automotive Group Inspiration of the Year Award. And here to help present this award is Samantha Kalmus from Heiser. Samantha?
Thanks, Carol.
Wow, what an amazing event and what an amazing group of people. Heiser Automotive is just so proud to be a part of this.
And we're very happy to have you, Samantha. And we have one more award to hand out, and we're very excited about this. This award actually goes to someone who's already been honored tonight. They are our Inspiration of the Year and will receive an extra $4,000 for their charity. Samantha, please tell us who was the Positively Milwaukee Heiser Automotive Group Inspiration Award of the Year.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the winner is Jimmy Banks.
Congratulations to the Banks family. We'd like you all to come up on the stage. We'd like to invite you. We know this has been a difficult night for all of you. We appreciate you sharing your father's legacy with us. Thank you so much.
I just want to say thank you for this award and just for being here. This is very special, and I hope that a lot of people take a positive message from this whole thing, because a lot of these people are changing lives, and we need more of it, seriously. So thank you.
It has been such an honor. This has been a tough night. These are such great stories, such great people, and really this affirms all of our faith in humanity, and it's so life-affirming. We love the fact that we are able to spotlight the people and the winners that deserve this recognition that they do not normally get. All of you, just for being here, you are Positively Milwaukee. We want to thank you. We want to thank everybody who sent in a nomination. We had to sift through hundreds of the information, and we have some phenomenal people in our area. And to all of the great people who work behind the scenes to make this possible, we appreciate you. And thank you for enjoying this evening with us, because all of you will take back with you a life lesson that I think will last forever. And from all of us here at today's TMJ4, thank you for being a positive force.